So, I made an animated series. Alright, a bit of explanation. I'm Tamia, and I took an independent study class, which is basically a self made class where you get to choose whatever you want to study. I chose to study how to make an animated series by making an animated series. Why did I do this? Well, during the spring, I took an animation class and fell in love with stop motion. So, with a little less than 3 months of animation experience, I decided, hey, wouldn't it be cool to hone in my skills and make an animated series? Oh, like a pilot and a show Bible. Yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah, no, my professor thought that I was going to make a concept, but I had every intention of making a full 6 episode web series. I was hyped, I was prepped, and I immediately got thrown into a creative block. It was bad. My procrastination and art block tag teamed against me, and it was kicking my ass. So half of the summer went by, and I was still stuck. But while I was at my grandma's house, I found him. This is Stan, this guy, the main character of my show. I made him back in high school when I wanted to practice making comic strips. And the reason his world was so perfect was that I already had the world built, it just didn't have a solid story to it. So the writing kind of just went, and I was released from my art block jail. And just in time because school had started. So I had a plan in place to make sure I got this done within 6 months because without one, it would have been impossible. August to September, that was the pre planning phase and voice work. I auditioned VAs, finished my script, built my sets and characters. So in October, I could start animating. When I wasn't animating, I would finish the missing sets that I couldn't get done in the pre planning phase. In November, I would finish animating and start editing all the way until December. Then bada bing, bada boom, that's a finished show. And no, it did not work out that way. In the beginning of October, I wanted to have what was called an audio diary, which is basically a podcast of the whole show. But I made a huge error and I forgot to recast the character, which was delayed even more so by me being too busy to animate because I didn't start animating until 2 weeks until October. Luckily for me, I was animating on twos to save on the workload, which basically meant that instead of taking 24 pictures for every second of my show, I was taking 12 pictures. But when I finally did get the finished audio diary, it had 30 minutes of pure audio alone. The green screen. Oh my gosh, the green screen. See, I decided to have the bright idea of using the green screen for all of my forest scenes. But guess who forgot whose forest props are green? Me. So I decided to try and use a blue screen. But guess who made Stan's tape blue? Me! So I broke it up. Everything with Stan would be green, the rest blue. But Mystery's question mark is purple, so it disappears when I use it. And for whatever reason, Stan's tape also disappears when I use it on the green screen. And I couldn't fix it. It's a feature now. Not to mention, before I had found out about all of this, I was home for Thanksgiving break and got sick. I did everything I could to keep myself from getting sick the week before, because I still had planned to work on Box World over break, but as the weather went from it's chilly to oh shit, it's snowing, I stood no chance. Luckily for me, after Thanksgiving break, I felt revitalized. But the week before finals is still the week before finals, and it's almost the most brutal week there is. I would say it's even more brutal than actual finals week. The amount of papers and presentations that started to pile up was insane. I started to hit what I like to call an editing rock, where I would put in the hours, but progress was so slow. And like with any project, self-doubt started to creep in. I had dealt with self-doubt since day one. Most people use the time I've spent on this project just planning it out, and others have very smooth animation, but their videos are shorter. I started sinking into a hole of, is this good enough? If it wasn't, I was letting down the people who believed in me, the people who helped me with this project, and myself. Who was I to think that I could make a project in 6 months? What was I on? But I took a step back. I had been my own cheerleader from day one of this project. I believed in myself because at the time I didn't know if anybody else would. I believed in myself all this time. Why now, with 2 weeks left, give up? Not when I'm so close to finishing. So, the last week of school, I finished the first 4 episodes on the first day. The rest of the days were spent finishing episode 5 and 6 and this video. And if you had told little me back then, who was sitting on the couch watching Ninjago, that she would make her own series, she would have screamed, cried, and threw up. So, excuse me for a minute while I go scream, cry, and throw up. But yeah, I basically made an animated series. But I'm still proud of all the work I did. And I can't thank enough the people who have helped, supported, or even just sat while I rambled on about this silly little show. And if you're interested in watching this silly little show about a box who goes on an adventure and brings back a little bit more than what he bargained for, watch Box World on my YouTube channel. All 6 episodes will be there, and any future projects. It may not be like the other things you've seen, but it's mine. So, I guess that's it. See ya!